What is good, all you Dolphins fans out there? So, the Miami Dolphins schedule has finally been released, and to be perfectly honest, it's not looking too bad. Toughest games on the slate looks like it's going to be the 49ers and the Chiefs, but other than that, the schedule, to be honest, isn't looking too bad. We do have to travel out west more than we have the past couple of years, and I think I saw the team's going to be traveling something like 24,000 miles this year, which is nearly the most in the NFL, so it's going to be a lot of travel, but in terms of the opponents, I'm pretty confident that the team can pull together a winning season, hopefully, and just building towards sustained success, because that's what this rebuild's all about. We want to have a team that's in the playoffs every year, that's vying for the Super Bowl. So hopefully the 2020 season can be the first step towards a winning culture and a winning team, and just, a positive season that is filled with a lot of winning and just positive team building. I'll be taking you guys through the whole schedule, just give my opinion on the week, on the opponent, and obviously how I think the Dolphins will be doing that week, win or loss. So, week 1, we're going to be playing the Patriots, which was one of our biggest wins at Foxborough last year. After beating the Patriots with that abysmal roster we had last season, man, we got a real chance to win week 1 here. And with Tom Brady bolting to the Bucs, they're more vulnerable than ever. Just the improvements on both sides of the ball. We got a tremendous chance to beat the Patriots here week 1, and let's hope they can do that. Early on in the season is usually when the Patriots are at their most vulnerable, so we've got a real chance here to beat them. So let's put this in as the Dolphins' first win of the season, so 1-0. On to week 2 here. We got the Bills at home, and that's a very winnable game as well. Who knows how good the Bills are going to look in 2020. And with our improved roster, like I said, we got a real chance to beat these guys week 2, so it's going to be a tough game. The Bills have put many more weapons around Josh Allen, and their defense is great as always, so it's going to be a pretty tough out for the Dolphins. So for now, let's just call it a loss, week 2 against the Bills. Week 3 at the Jaguars. This is a game I could definitely see the Dolphins winning. The Jags are obviously rebuilding at the moment. They're going to be led by Gardner Minshew at quarterback, who showed, a decent amount of promise in 2019, but they have shipped out a number of veterans during this rebuild. Calais Campbell and Marcel Darius up front are gone. On defense, as well as AJ Bouye getting traded this past offseason and Jalen Ramsey last season, they've got a completely remade defense. Now, they've done a pretty good job on the draft, replacing those guys, CJ Henderson and Kayvon Chason in the first round, Devon Hamilton in the third round. They've drafted a number of dudes that are going to probably replace those guys, but as it stands, they're a rebuilding team, and I can really see the Dolphins going up there and pretty much getting close to blowing them out. That's another win for the team. On to week 4, we got the Seahawks at home. That's going to be one of the toughest challenges of the season. Russell Wilson and the boys coming down to Miami to take on the team. It's always tough going up against Russell Wilson. I really feel like he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. If we can contain him and we can slow down the run game, I think we got a chance here. The matchup has got the potential to be a fairly close contest, but obviously the Seahawks have got the edge at quarterback. But yeah, like I've said, depending on how the team is playing at that point in the season, we got a pretty good chance to make this competitive. If we hold our own in the trenches on both sides of the ball, we can beat anyone, any given day. But yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty 50-50 on this game. Let's come back for this game as well. For the rest of these games, I'm just going to break down the opponent, and then I'll give my opinion at the end of the video on what I think the record's going to be. I think it's going to be a much better video if I just break down the opponent and just give my prediction on the record at the end of the video. When looking at the schedule, you really just want to give the Dolphins like a 14-2 record, because seeing what Coach Flores was able to do in 2019 with that talent-starved team and going 5-11, just really hard not to give the team, the benefit of the doubt in most of these games, because we've definitely added a ton of talent, but I'm going to try and be as fair as possible with these matchups. Week 5, the Dolphins at the 49ers, and this is definitely going to be one of the toughest, if not the toughest games of the season. The 49ers are tough on both sides of the ball. Jimmy G at quarterback. They've got great running backs. They've got tremendous receivers now after adding Brandon Ayuk in the draft. On defense, absolutely loaded. They've got beasts up front. Nick Bosa, Arik Armstead. They drafted Javon Kinlaw. D4, just the defensive line is insane. Hopefully the Dolphins' offensive line is clicking by then. But this is going to be one of the toughest games of the season. The 49ers went to the Super Bowl last year. It's going to be an incredibly hard game, especially at their field. Kyle Shanahan is one of the best play callers in the league. He just really knows how to use these guys. This is definitely going to be one of the toughest games. The former NFC champions are going to give the Dolphins a tremendous run for their money. That Week 5 game against the 49ers is really going to tell us where the team is on both sides of the ball. The Niners' elite play on both sides of the ball is really going to be a tremendous barometer for the team. Week 6, the Dolphins are heading back out west to take on the Broncos at their stadium. John Elway has done a tremendous job to improve the team, especially on offense. They drafted Jerry Jeudy in the first round, KJ Hamler in the second round. Drew Lock is going to have some tremendous weapons. Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, Jerry Jeudy, KJ Hamler. It's just going to be an absolute track and field team for the Broncos out there on offense, especially after adding Melvin Gordon. He's only going to help out the running game, so this could be a pretty tough test against the Broncos. And on defense, Von Miller's there as always. Bradley Chubb, they're great up front. And God, just like the Dolphins, they've got a ton of talented young dudes, and if the team can come together, they've got a real chance to have a winning season in 2020. And if Drew Lock can improve in year 2 and utilize all these weapons, God, they're going to be a hard offense to stop. And if the Broncos defense could get back to their dominating ways, they were pretty good in the second half of 2019. I'll give them that. Vic Fangio definitely was having those guys playing some pretty solid defense. But yeah, we'll just have to see what they look like week 6 in Denver. On to week 7, the Dolphins have got the Chargers at home. It's going to be the Tua versus Justin Herbert Bowl. But who knows if those guys are going to be starting by then. Herbert's got a chance to start, but I'm really thinking the Dolphins are going to be trying to keep out Tua for 2020. Even though the Chargers decided to part from Phillip Rivers in free agency, they're still a very loaded team. Joey Bosa, Melvin Ingram on defense, Derwin James, Casey Hayward, Desmond King, man, they're a talented defense that's going to continue to play well in 2020. On offense, they got 2 great receivers to throw to, Williams and Keenan Allen, to go along with Austin Eckler. Depending on who's going to be starting, Tyrod Taylor or Justin Herbert, it's going to be a pretty similar game plan. Honestly, the Chargers as a whole don't feel like the same dominant team they were from 2018, and I really could see the Dolphins getting an edge in this one. But just like Coach Flores, Anthony Lynn is a pretty solid head coach, so who knows how he's going to have the Chargers playing come week 7. On to week 8, we got back-to-back home games here and another West Coast opponent in the Rams. Similar to the Chargers, they really don't feel like the same team that was playing dominant football a few seasons ago. They've lost a number of key veterans on both sides of the ball. Jared Goff has still got Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods, and the drafting of Van Jefferson in the 3rd round, one of the best route runners in the draft, is definitely going to help out the receiving core. But yeah, that side of the ball, especially with Todd Gurley gone as well, really does feel like it's going to have the same juice. They did draft Cam Akers. I think it was in the 2nd round or 3rd round, can't remember. Pretty sure it was 2nd round, but yeah, I was a huge fan of Cam Akers coming out of Florida State. I thought he was one of the quickest and shiftiest and just most explosive running backs in the draft. But also on defense, I mean, they've lost a number of guys. Corey Littleton gone. Aaron Donald is kind of the only superstar. They got Jalen Ramsey at corner, but they really just don't feel like the same dominant team of 2017 and 2018. I think the Dolphins have got a real chance here, just like the Chargers, to jump on the Rams while they're vulnerable. Week 9, we've got the Arizona Cardinals in Arizona. I think the Cardinals are going to be a much improved team in 2020 over the 2019 season. They're pretty much just, getting Kyler Murray as much playing time as possible to get him comfortable in the NFL. But God, they're going to be a pretty tough team to go up against. Kyler Murray, I think in year 2 is going to be an absolute force to go up against. God, we saw him last year for the Cards, what he was able to do in his first year. He's just got amazing speed. He's definitely got sub 4.4 speed. He was making 4.4 defenders look like traffic cones, and his arm is just incredible, man. He's very accurate, and the amount of power and velocity he gets on the ball at 5'10 is just incredible, man. You can really see that baseball background, but God, Kyler Murray is going to be incredibly hard to go up against. Kenyon Drake as the full-time starter at running back is going to be an absolute weapon for them. We saw what he did when he got playing time for the Cardinals, and we saw what kind of a force he can be in his time in Miami. He's just incredibly explosive and dynamic as an offensive player. But I think the biggest test here is going to be the receiving core. Larry Fitzgerald, DeAndre Hopkins, the other kid out of Texas A&M, he's escaping my mind at the moment, their 2nd round pick from a couple of years ago, Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler. We'll see if he makes the field, but God, this receiving core for Kyler Murray is going to be night and day compared to 2019. I mean, his biggest target was Larry Fitzgerald, who's now is 36. So that tells you what kind of shape their receiving core was in 2019. And with the addition of Hopkins, God, it's going to take Kyler Murray's game to the next level. Hopkins, one of the best receivers in the league, if not the best. We know what he can do. He's got amazing hands. He wins the 50-50 balls consistently. He's just an incredible receiver, and God, he's going to help out Murray a boatload. The Murray to Hopkins connection really is going to be one of the most amazing things to watch all season as a fan. But something I've forgotten to mention here as a Dolphins fan is Byron Jones and Xavier Howard. Just they're 2 lockdown corners that I'm sure are going to have an absolute field day against receivers. So we'll see how they do going up against a core like the Cardinals. yeah, just these receiving cores we're going to be going up against are going to be a huge test for the secondary. And man, I'm excited to see how Byron Jones and Xavier Howard and Noah Igbenogany, Brandon Jones, Eric Rowe, how they take on the challenge. The same can be said for the Dolphins' much improved front seven. So week 10, November 15th, we got the Jets at home, and God, I'm hoping we're going to pummel Adam Gase. After going 1-1 against the Jets in 2019, I think we got a real chance to pummel them in back-to-back games here. We got the Jets after the bye week, which is week 11. We'll be playing them week 12, November 29th, and God, we got a real chance to beat the Jets in back-to-back games here over the stretch in November. Especially after last season, we played the Jets pretty tough, almost sweeping them if it wasn't for that bullshit pass interference call at the end of the game. And Gase went absolutely ballistic going after the officials. That was just a treat to see, but God, that was our game for the taking. They beat us by 3 points at the last second. Oh, God. But all that nonsense from last year really doesn't matter at this point. The Dolphins have got a real chance here to beat the Jets twice during that 3-week span, so that should be a real treat if we can pull that off. But really, put it this way, who do you trust more to come up with a better game plan over a 3-week period, Brian Flores or Adam Gase? Exactly, that question just really answers itself. With the improved roster, I'm real confident the Dolphins can get it done over that stretch in November. Now, Greg Williams definitely does help being the defensive coordinator. He's going to be the head coach of the defense, and they're going to be a great unit, but I really think that Adam Gase is completely inept when it comes to leading and calling plays for an offense. As long as Adam Gase, the fool, is the head coach of the Jets, I'm going to want the Dolphins to annihilate the Jets game in and game out. I just really cannot stand that man. So, moving past that stretch, against the Jets, the Dolphins have got the Bengals, week 13, 1 o'clock at home. The Bengals this offseason finally went out and signed some players in free agency, going in a much different direction compared to the usual vanilla approach the team has had towards team building for, God knows, like 20 years by now. Their owner just never spends money and just, God, never thinks outside the box. In free agency, they added safety Von Bell, formerly of the Saints, cornerbacks Mackenzie Alexander and Trey Waynes from the Vikings. They also brought in DJ Reader, defensive tackle, nose tackle that was one of the best last year against the run. They actually made a concerted effort to bring in solid football players outside of the organisation, and we shall see if that's going to lead to success for the team down the road. I mean, their free agency haul wasn't as impressive as the Dolphins, but at least they're adding players outside the organisation. That's something that we haven't seen for the Bengals for a very long time. The Cincinnati Bengals' success moving forward is really all going to hang in the ability of Joe Burrow, the first overall pick, to get acclimated to playing the position in the NFL. If he can capture that same magic he showed during that championship run with LSU, I'm sure he's going to be a viable quarterback for the Bengals moving forward. He's got a pretty solid supporting cast around him on offense to help with the transition. Joe Mixon in the backfield, a receiving core featuring AJ Green, if he's healthy, Tyler Boyd in the slot, speedy receiver John Ross, and 33rd overall pick T. Higgins. That's a pretty solid receiving core to help out the rookie in his first year. We shall see by week 13 what Joe Burrow is made of, and I'm confident the Dolphins have got everything in place to make it a tough outing for Burrow and the Bengals when it comes to that matchup on the 6th of December. Week 14 will be one of the toughest matchups of the season, going up against the defending Super Bowl champs, the Kansas City Chiefs. Besides the Week 5 matchup against the 49ers, this is going to be one of the toughest tests for the Dolphins this season. We all know what Pat Mahomes in the offense is capable of. We've seen it from Mahomes the last couple of years. They've got explosive weapons all over the field, and they can put up major points in a hurry. The Dolphins secondary is going to be pushed to the absolute limit in this one, and slowing down the Chiefs' high-octane vertical offense is going to be the key to winning this game and, making it competitive. The addition of Clyde Edwards-Helaire will only add another explosive element to the offense. He's a perfect addition for the Andy Reid offense, and he's another elite toy for Patrick Mahomes to play with. Just the Chiefs taking him 32nd overall just really isn't fair, man. He was one of my favorite running backs, and God, he's going to be amazing to watch in this offense. The Chiefs' defense, quietly, is a solid unit with Chris Jones and Frank Clark up front, and the Honey Badger patrolling all over the secondary. Week 14 is going to be a huge test for the Dolphins, and it's really going to show us where we are as a team. Going up against the best team in the AFC, it's really going to show us what the Dolphins are made of. Week 15, we got a division opponent, and that's the Patriots. The second matchup of the season. We open up the season going up against the Patriots, and who knows what they're going to look like week 15. Who knows what Jared Stidham's going to look like as the starter, if their defense is going to be as dominant as it was last season. and if Belichick can pull off another winning season. Yeah, just like the first matchup, this is a very winnable game, and I'm really excited to see how both teams are going to match up December 20th. On to Week 16, we got the Raiders, and it looks like it's going to be in Las Vegas. The Raiders have got a tough, big offensive line, and God, they were really doing great things in that offense behind that line. Josh Jacobs is an absolute beast, so we're going to have to be tackling at our best. Derek Carr, we'll see what he's going to look like in the offense. They added Henry Ruggs to the receiving core in the draft, so that's only going to add some more immense speed to go along with their other receivers. Their defense, they've got some young guys. Jonathan Abrams going to be coming back. Cleveland Ferrell, we'll see if he's going to have an improved season. Max Crosby was a real treat to watch in 2019. He had 10.5 sacks. He just really wasn't expecting that. He put on some strength and showed, man, that he's a better pass rusher than Cleveland Ferrell. And they also drafted a couple of corners. Damon Arnett out of Ohio State. They're a pretty young team at this point, and we'll just have to see what they look like come Week 16. The Dolphins have got a chance to make this competitive and come out with a win in Las Vegas. And now, on to the last game of the season, Week 17. We got the Bills in Buffalo, January 3rd, and that's probably going to be a pretty cold or snowy game. We'll have to see how Josh Allen is playing at the end of the season. If things have been clicking with Stephon Diggs and the other guys they've added, we'll see if his receiving core has been dominating on the field. We shall see if the Bills' defense is as dominant as it's been the last couple of seasons, but it's going to be a pretty tough game to win. Depending on how the Dolphins are playing at that point. I'm really looking forward to that game, and let's not hope it's an absolute pour down of snow and, we can have a decent game of football. All of our AFC matchups this season really are wide open. So that's it for my breakdown of the games. Let's do a quick rundown of what I think the record's going to be. Obviously, this is all up in the air at the moment. You never know what's going to happen. If there's going to be injuries in preseason, trades, retirements, you never know what's going to happen before a season. So this is all hypothetical at this point, but let's just go through it anyway. Week 1 at the Patriots. I'm giving the Dolphins a win in this one. I really feel like the Patriots are going to take a slight step back in 2020, and I'm hoping the Dolphins can pounce on them. Week 2 against the Bills. This is our home opener, and I'm giving this game to the Bills. I think they're going to be dominant on defense. I think Josh Allen's going to show some improvement, and those weapons on offense for him are going to take over and dominate, and I think those backs are going to be a real problem for our defense. Week 3, we're going up to Jacksonville, and I'm giving this to the Dolphins. With all our improvements in the offseason, I'm thinking that we can take out the young, rebuilding Jaguars on their home turf. So currently, that's 2-1. On to Week 4, we got the Seahawks at home. It's going to be a tough game. I really could see it going anyway, but I'm going to give it to Russell Wilson. I think he's going to have one of those dominant games, and I'm going to give it to the Seahawks. So that's a 2-2 record at this point. Week 5, we got the 49ers, and I'm giving that to the 49ers. They're just a very dominant team. NFC East champions. Dominant on both sides of the ball. I'm giving this to the 49ers. So that's 2-3. Week 6, at the Broncos. I'm giving this to the Dolphins. I really think we've got a chance to pounce on the Broncos and make a statement here up in Denver. So we're 3-3. We got the Chargers. Week 7, I'm giving this to the Dolphins. I think we can beat them. 4-3. On to the Rams here. I think we can defeat the Rams as well. I know that, God, I'm giving the Dolphins a lot of wins here, but I really think that we can beat the Rams at home. I really think it's very possible this season. They're not the same dominant team they were over the past couple seasons. So another win for the Dolphins. 5-3. Week 9, we're playing the Cardinals on their home turf. They're going to be very improved. I think Kyler Murray is going to show some improvement. DeAndre Hopkins is going to be doing his thing. Kenyon Drake is going to be tearing it up. But, God, I can really see us winning this game at all. Just like the Jaguars, they're a rebuilding team. But granted, they've got an elite quarterback in Kyler Murray. But I think the Dolphins can win this. 6-3. Week 10, we're going up against the Jets at home, and I'm giving this to the Dolphins. I think we're going to whoop Adam Gase. We're going to rattle Sam Darnold, and God, our improvements on both sides of the ball are really going to shine Week 10 against the Jets. Week 11, we've got a bye, and then following that, Week 12, we got the Jets up at New Jersey, and I'm going to give the Jets the benefit of the doubt in this one. God, the Dolphins have, at this point, have got a 7-3 record, so let's give it to the Jets. So, 7-4. Week 13, against the Bengals at home. I think we can win this one as well. As crazy as it may sound, God, our schedule just really isn't that hard. We got the 49ers and the Chiefs and the Bills and the Seahawks. They're the toughest teams, but other than that, we can beat teams like the Broncos or the Chargers and the Rams. We can beat the Jets twice. We can beat the Patriots. Chiefs and 49ers, it's going to be incredibly tough, but I really think that Brian Flores is capable of leading much better talent to many more wins. So the Bengals, that's another win. So that's 8-4 at the Week 14 point of the season. Week 14, we got the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs are going to beat us at home. Who knows what's going to happen? Who knows what the Dolphins are going to look like? But I'm giving the benefit of the doubt to the defending Super Bowl champs. I think Mahomes is going to have a huge game, and they're going to be incredibly hard to stop. So that's 8-5 now. Patriots at home. You know what? I think they're going to come back down to Miami and get revenge on us. Even though we're better at home, let's give it to the Patriots. I mean, you could flip-flop the games. The Patriots could beat us week 1. We could most probably win week 15 because we normally beat the Patriots at home. But that leaves us at 8-6 with 2 games to go on the schedule. The Raiders in Las Vegas, I think they're going to be pretty tough in the home field. So let's give it to the Raiders, 8-7. And the last game here of the season, January 3rd, week 17 against the Bills on their home field. It's going to be a tough game. I could see anyone winning. That could leave us with a 9-7 record or an 8-8 record, but I'm going to give that to the Bills. So that leaves the Dolphins with an 8-8 record, 3 games improvement on a 2019 season. I really could see us winning another couple more games than that. I could see us winning 10-11, maybe 12. Nah, let's not get greedy. I could see us winning maybe 10-11 games next year. I really think that just with the additions we've made in free agency and the draft, I think that we can be a much improved team. And I think we've got the chance to be one of the top teams in the AFC East when it's all said and done. And maybe, just maybe, we might be able to scrape into a wild card playoff game. That's the absolute ceiling on the season. But yeah, like I've said many times in this video, we don't know what the Dolphins are going to look like. We could be a playoff team next year. We could be horrible and only win, 7 games. We never know how it's going to turn out. But I know one thing. I'm excited to see how this team is going to play in 2020 because the talent we've brought in on both sides of the ball just fits the team perfectly. And I think that Flores has got a chance to improve the team tremendously when you bring in that kind of talent. So that's it for this video, guys. My full breakdown on the schedule. Also, give my prediction on what I think the record's going to be. When it's all said and done, I think we're going to be somewhere around 7-9, 8-8, 9-7, or 10-6. I think that's going to be pretty achievable for us. But make sure to let me know in the comments section what you think the Dolphins' record's going to be in 2020, what you think of our opponents and how the schedule played out. Make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, if you've been enjoying the content. And as always, it's fins up, baby. I'll see you guys in the next one.